Greetings, friends. Today I want to talk to you about letting go of unwanted relationships. There's a quote in the Bible that says that he or she is more precious than rubies, diamonds, silver, or gold, and nothing can compare to that person. Whenever you meet a person and you start engaging in a conversation, from the very minute that you meet that person, you feel a connection. In the very few minutes, you start developing an ideology of what this person is all about. And everything that person does from that point on consumes you. The way they walk, the way they talk, even the way they hold their hands consumes you. The look, the wink, the smell, it consumes you. When that person comes into your presence, it brings up all these emotions, and the butterfly in your stomach just seems to bring joy to you. You start thinking about this person and you start thinking about all the beautiful things that you want to do. You start making future plans for yourself. And you just imagine what a wonderful life that'll going to be. But then things started to take a turn. And you try and you try and you try. But it just seems to be falling apart. Well, here's what's going on. Is as things start to fall apart, you try harder and harder to get that person to connect. You've done everything. Don't blame yourself. You've done everything. You've talked to the person. You've expressed how you feel. You've spent time just watching and observing and communicating with this person. But when this person looks at you, they have no emotions. They have nothing that is connecting them to you. Why? Because in the interest of yourself, as much as you put in, that person didn't have the same emotions, the same connection that they wanted. So what happens is, in your mind, you're thinking, what am I doing wrong? My friends, I don't know who needs this today. Maybe I need it myself. But somebody out there needs this. You didn't do anything wrong. That person was never connected to you because they were looking at something superficial. They just wanted a season in their life that they can feel connected to somebody. But you are giving it all. So it's time to back down. Don't give up in finding someone. It's time to back down. In doing so, you would see that things are about to change. Because when things fall apart, we go back to being strangers. We walk by each other, no eye contact, and when we do make eye contact, we look away pretty quickly. The truth is, it is difficult to move on. You feel like everything you pour into it has no return on investment because you have invested time and you've invested feelings. It's not as easy as 1, 2, 3 or ABC. For some people, they can move on instantaneously because they have no vested interest in you. For others, it takes weeks, it takes months, sometimes it takes years. We've read it over and over in the history books of men and women who's held on, hoping that that person is going to come back to them. But the reality is, we're living in a fantasy. Especially when your love, your feelings for that person was genuine. That person had no idea what they lost. So it takes time to move on from someone, and it's not as easy as it seems. It's rather difficult because now you have to deal with your emotions. You have to deal with what you encounter in this. So don't let anybody tell you moving on is easy. It takes time. Don't just jump into another relationship as a rebound relationship. Because what happens is that you're looking for something in that person that you missed on your ex. But all you're doing is causing pain for the new person. But more importantly, you're causing pain for yourself. Moving on basically means getting on with your life, not holding on or hanging on to past relationships. To move on from your ex, you need to allow yourself to feel the pain. You need yourself to experience the pain. And then when you come to grips what it is, you have to figure out how to let it go. You have to open up yourself to new experiences. You have to open yourself to the emotions that you're feeling. The anger, the jealousy, the hate, the frustration, the anxiety. Holding all these things back inside only makes it worse. What happens is that it gets to the point where you're boiling, like boiling water on a stovetop with a lid on top of it. It gets to the point where it explodes. And what happens? The entire emotions that you're feeling just comes out. So you need to feel the anger. You need to let go of that anger. You need to know that because you might feel that you're right, you got to put things into perspective. Because what happens is when you explode, you do things and say things might not be right. And eventually you'll start regretting what you said. You start regretting the hurt that it brings even more to you. These are some of the things I find myself thinking about. How do we move past someone? It's easy for anybody to say, go on with your life. But unless you acknowledge and accept what you're feeling, you can't move on. You have to deal with your feelings right there and then. You have to allow yourself to feel that in your stomach. You have to allow yourself to feel it in your heart. And then accept it. The way you accept it is different for each and every one of us. Some people may scream. Some people may vent. Some people may just shut down. But once you acknowledge it, then you go speak to someone. Speak to someone that you trust. Not everyone is willing to listen to what you have to say. Because they may end up taking what you say and go and tell other people. Sometimes you say things out of anger. Sometimes you don't even say it. But the person that's listening or the person that's around you would go back and tell your ex, you said it. And then it becomes a conflict of, well, I didn't say it. So why is she accusing me, or why is he accusing me of saying this? Meanwhile, you are trying to go on with your life, but this person is bringing it back to you. So I say, my friends, when you're speaking to someone, be really careful about how you're speaking to them and what your emotions are. You never know who's going to go back and tell what is said. There's a scriptures in 2 Timothy chapter 2 where the Apostle Paul warned Timothy, a young preacher, not to become entangled in foolishness. Basically what he's saying is do not become caught up in conversations when you're sharing something. Do not be caught up in telling a lie to protect yourself. Do not be entangled with other people in relationships. You never know. There is you and then there is your ex. Only two of you know what happened. And two of you know that either it worked or it didn't work. It didn't work because here we are today. So when you speak to that person, you need to vent and let that person know how you feel. Because venting allows you to get what you're feeling out. It allows you to relieve that stress. It lets go of the problems that you're facing. Because when you don't deal with it and that explosion happens, you risk depression, you risk anxiety, you start developing hate, you start developing, you don't want to be around anybody. You're afraid now to let anybody else into your life because you didn't allow yourself to go through the process. I hope this makes sense somewhere to somebody. But when you talk to someone, that trusted person, they will help you feel better because they will be objective and maybe they have experienced this before. And in doing so, it will help you shed light on some of the things, some of your flaws that you've been dealing with, but you're afraid to show it to the world. The next thing you need to do is get involved. Get involved in projects that interest you, something you love. Maybe go for a walk, go to the gym, buy a pet, take a long drive, or even try meeting new people. They say Facebook is a way to meet people, social media is a way to meet people, but the truth is, you meet people when you allow people to meet you. You see, if you carry about yourself with a ho-hum me attitude that brings you down, your demeanor, people don't want to be around you. They find you to be negative, and that's not where you need to be. Try not to be idle. Try to find things to do. Give yourself to doing things. Give yourself to speaking out. Walk around anybody you see. Just openly say, hey, how are you? What's going on? How's your day? It's impossible to suddenly stop thinking about your ex. But whenever you are busy engaging in conversation or engaging in your work or finding things that you love to do, you find you don't have time to think about that person. The next step is forgiveness. Forgiveness globally is one of the most powerful things or word we should all learn. Whether it be in a relationship, whether it be in an argument, whether it be in a conflict with someone, forgiveness is the biggest part of a human life. If you cannot forgive someone, you cannot forgive yourself. No matter what, you have to forgive that person. You have to forgive yourself. Ephesians 4:32 puts it like this. Be kind and compassionate to one another. Forgive each other just as Christ has forgiven you. If God can forgive you of your insecurities, if God can forgive you of your own sins, if God can forgive you for all the mistakes that you've made in your life, why can't you and I forgive? Why can't you and I forgive our loves, our exes, our brother, our sister? We keep thinking they are doing something to us, but the reality is you are doing something to yourself. No matter how much this person hurt you, how much pain they brought into your life, you just need to forgive them. Forgive your ex is a huge step in taking control of your life, taking control of your own individual healing. Even if it means submitting yourself below them, you have to do it. Sometimes it's easy to take a step back than to take a step forward. Because when you step back, they see a different person in you. They see something different in you. Because if you keep on the same road, they are going to see you as weak. Eventually, that weakness turns into bitterness. It turns into hatred. 1 John chapter 2 verse 9 puts it like this. Whoever say in his heart that he is in the light and hates his brother is still in darkness. You need to replace your anger with gratitude. You need to replace that hate with love. The Bible tells us love conquers all. But how do you show love? You see, when you carry yourself in a way of integrity and you ask the Lord to have a Christ-like spirit, you ask Him to go before you, people see a difference in you. No one is perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. Hating your ex and talking bad about them will only give them a control over you. Believe it or not, they have control over you if you continue. You create a stronghold that they feel that they have control over you. Because every time you see them, you're sulking, you're feeling sad, you feel all these emotions around you that I am not good enough, what did I do to this person, and all these things. But when you carry yourself with integrity because you forgive them and you already forgive yourself, they see you in a different light and they start questioning, what did I do? Why did I leave? What did I not do right? And then they start gravitating, trying to be around you. But at this point, you have to make that solid decision. Is this what I want? Do I want to go back and feel the hurt? What if this person tends to play psychological game? He or she is a narcissistic person. What then? So when you when you develop that spirit of humbleness, of love, and start replacing the negative energy with positive energy, you learn from this experience. You learn what forgiveness is. When you forgive, you release yourself from bondage. You release yourself from hate, anger, malice, all the negativity in this world. You release yourself from that. When we all experience forgiveness, we receive peace. You start feeling a peace in your heart, and you start feeling calmness in your mind. Remember, forgiveness and forgiveness of others means forgiving yourself. To forgive means to set yourself free. In doing so, you will discover what you're forgiving or who you're forgiving is the inner man in you. Because that man or woman has been dealing with a lot. Like I say, it takes weeks, it takes months, it takes years. You choose how long you are going to let this person control you. The next step is finding time to speak to God. God has to be involved in everything that you do. In every areas of your life, in every endeavor of your life, even when you go through this breakup. See, I said that you gotta find activities to do. But here's the thing. You can only be busy so much of the day. Eventually you gotta go back to your house. You go back to your room and you turn the lights off. And that's where the battle starts. The battle is in your mind. Your mind tries to control you, but you need to control your mind. And by doing this, you talk to the Lord. The Lord will give you the confidence to do what is right. He will guide you and show you where you need to be. Even through this breakup. Even through the tumultuous time that you're going through. First of all, you need to find grace and forgiveness and forgive this person. And you also need to find grace to heal. The truth is, you cannot do this alone. No one can do it alone. We can gravitate to our friends. We can gravitate to the alcohol. We can gravitate to the smoking. We can do all manner of things. I'm not saying that these are right or wrong. What I'm saying is that you and the Lord, God Himself, can do this. Your strength depends on God. God gives you the authority to call on Him. He says, in the day of trouble, call upon me and I will answer thee. The struggle that you're going through is real. No one knows but you what that struggle is. Knowing that God is involved in everything that you do brings you to a peace of mind. Forgiving someone when they hurt you is not easy. That's why we need to find grace in the Lord to do it. 1 Peter 5:10 puts it like this. And after you have suffered a little while, the God of grace, of all grace, who has called you to his eternal glory in Christ, will himself restore and confirm, strengthen, and establish you. It is important that you know that God will restore you in times of need. He said he will hide you in the secret of his pavilion. He will establish you with a new strength, a new will. The next step is recognizing that there is someone out there for you. That's a touchy subject right there. When I say there is someone for you, the world is so vast, the earth is so vast. Where do we find the someone? See, we need to pray and ask the Lord to bring that person into your life. Ask the Lord to show you who that person is. Because sometimes we tend to let go of the person that should have been there. We tend to think, what if I had stuck it out with this person? But no, I jumped into another relationship. I let the right one go. Because he or she, I didn't see what I wanted in them. But in doing so, you jump to this other relationship. The same thing was missing in this relationship. But now you're stuck in this relationship. And you're wondering, where did I go wrong? You can't do that. Don't ever do that. Don't ever toy. Don't ever play with people's emotions. People are fragile. They're really fragile. And they know that, at any moment someone can break down. So just because you're single today, it doesn't mean that you're going to be single forever. There's a saying that in life, there's someone for everyone. Sorry, there's a man for a woman and a woman for a man. This may be extremely difficult to accept because chances are you're dealing with the emotions that you've put into the last relationship. And you can't move on because you thought that person was perfect. You thought that person had it all. But in reality, when you got there, the person was broken. Just like you. Just like me. We're all broken. This is why we need the favor of God in our lives. When you're going through a painful breakup, it's hard to imagine life without that person or someone else. But relationship ends up for a reason. Whether it be good or bad, it ends for a reason. Maybe the timing wasn't right. Maybe the Lord has put you through that to prepare you for the right one. Or maybe you didn't ask about it. Maybe you didn't ask him to show you who that person was. Or maybe he just blinded your eyes that you couldn't see the flaws in that person. This is why today we have so much broken relationships. Because we don't take time to ask the Lord to show us. It's important that we have it in the back of our minds that we do not have to be in a relationship to be complete. In other words, you have to be happy who you are. You have to be happy being yourself. But you also have to remember, we have this spirit that makes us connected to man, to one another. It makes us have the need to be connected to one another. We are only complete by God and God's will. Every relationship should only be complete when it involves God. Now that is hard for Facebook or social media to understand because we have so many beliefs and we have so many ideology. But for the people I'm speaking today too, whether you be a believer of Christ, the Lord, or whether you be of any other faith, we are human beings and we all go through breakups. We all go through downturns. We all go through seasons in our lives. So, my friends, you don't need to be in a relationship to be complete. You gotta find yourself. The final step in anything is finding out who you are. You start pausing and looking back upon your life. And you take an inventory of who were you before this person. Find the joy and where you were before this person came into your life. Look into that relationship and find out, where did you go wrong? Why did you give up so much of yourself to be with this person? This person, like I said earlier on, may have been narcissistic and toying with your emotions. This is why I believe strongly, do not play with people's emotion. Do not destroy someone to build yourself up. The Bible tells me God can lift one up and pull one down. The one he pulls up is the one that desires him. The one that goes against his will, he tends to pull down, because he knows the pride in the man's heart or the woman's heart. He knows for the children that loves him, he says he will protect them. He will make a refuge. He will be a hiding place. Don't let anybody pull you down today. The next time you go into a relationship, you need to get the Lord involved in every area of that relationship. It's not uncommon to lose yourself in a relationship. It's not. When you're in love with the right person, you will do everything. When you are in love, you will submit to that person, and that person will submit to you. They say that person can finish your statement, and you can finish his or her statement. The truth is, love will conquer both of it. Love will conquer all. This is why you need some time to think about who you are, where you've been, where are you going, and what is it you're looking for. Make time for yourself to find ways to grow physically, spiritually, and mentally. Nothing more important than being who you are and finding the true love in who you are. So I hope this will touch someone today. If you like this video and you want more, please like and share. I appreciate it.